So for today's video, I'm gonna be doing more of like a vlog style. So last night, Bailey and I went up to Best Buy and I got the Canon G7X Mark II, whatever it's called. Basically all the cameras that like the mainstream vloggers use. I was so excited to use it. I can see myself in the viewfinder right above, so like it's so good. So if I'm looking up there instead of like at the lens, I'm sorry, I'm not really used to it. But yeah, so for today's video I decided to do more of like a cooking with Haley video. So tonight I'm making vegetarian lasagna and I'm basically just gonna like walk you through it, how I make it. Pretty much for anybody who like doesn't eat meat or just wants to be like healthier or like just doesn't want to like put beef in their lasagna and wants it to be a little bit less boring than just like pasta and noodles, or not pasta and noodles, pasta and sauce and stuff. So yeah, if you guys want to see how I make my vegetarian lasagna, then just keep watching. Okay, so to start off, some of the things you're gonna need to make the lasagna is obviously lasagna noodles. These ones are just from Selection, super cheap. They taste exactly the same. I also picked up some tomato sauce. So I picked up 2 cans. This one is just the Romano cheese and basil. You can literally use whatever flavor you want. I just want something that's a little bit less plain than just like normal tomato sauce. So I picked up 2 of those just to make sure that I have like enough to make the whole lasagna and then extra if I need it. Also, you're gonna need a whole brick of cheese. I mean, you don't need to use a whole brick of cheese, but Bailey and I really like cheese, so we're gonna go through the whole block of it. You're also going to need some broccoli. I like to use both heads. You don't have to use that much if you don't want, but I prefer my lasagna to be a little bit thicker. It just gives like the illusion that it's ground beef when it's really not. So yeah, I like to use 2 broccoli crowns, broccoli heads, whatever you want to call this, and then an onion. So that's pretty much it. So I've had the water on boiling. I'm just gonna let that finish, but while that is like getting hot and stuff, I'm gonna start chopping up my broccoli and my onion because I'm gonna start grilling it. That way when we put in the sauce and stuff, it's not totally raw, like it's already kind of cooked. And yeah. Okay, so once your water's boiling, you can go ahead and obviously add your pasta. So depending on how big your casserole dish is, that's going to depend on how many noodles you use. I use 9 noodles because that fits my dish perfectly, and I've made it a bunch of times, so I know that that's what I need. So basically, you're just going to obviously put your noodles in the water. Very simple if you've ever made pasta before. I'm going to turn this down to medium. And then I'm also going to add in some olive oil, and this is basically just going to help make sure that the noodles don't stick together, especially for the lasagna noodles. We don't want them to like rip apart and break as we're like stirring them. So I'm just going to add the tiniest little bit into the water, kind of to help it. And then before I forget, I'm also going to turn on the oven. I'm going to set it to 350 so that it can preheat. Oh my gosh, that is so hot. There we go. Okay, so that just totally fogged up. So I'm going to put you guys down and I'm going to start chopping up the broccoli as well as the onion, and I'm going to start grilling it or frying it, whatever you call. I don't really know the lingo to this. I'm kind of new to this, but yeah. Okay, so once all your vegetables that you want to add are chopped up, you can put them in your pan. I also added a little bit of olive oil because it makes it a little bit easier to grill them or fry them. I don't know this lingo, but yeah, so I just diced mine up. My onions aren't diced up too small because Bailey's not here to cut them for me, and I'm the biggest baby when it comes to onions. So yeah, they're a little bit bigger, but that's okay. You're not gonna notice them when they're in the lasagna anyways. But yeah, if you wanted the pieces smaller or bigger, literally do whatever you want. This is just what Bailey and I like, so that's what I'm doing. So our noodles should be just about done, so I'm gonna drain them in a second and then rinse them off and just let them sit for a bit so that they're not like scorching hot when I go to touch them, because that's normally what happens. But yeah, so I'm gonna let these cook for a little bit longer and then put everything together. Okay, so once your vegetables have been cooking for a little bit, you can go ahead and add in the tomato sauce. So I don't really worry about cooking it completely because it cooks while it's in the sauce in the oven. So after like 15-ish minutes, you can go ahead in and add your tomato sauce. So I like to add in 2 cans, and then I'm also going to scrape out the extra, but I only have one hand, I know. So yeah, you can just go ahead and add in your sauce, mix that all up. You can add spices. So I think I normally add in like Italian or oregano, basically like anything I have. Garlic salt, or not garlic salt, but like garlic powder is really good. Onion powder, all of that stuff. And then I also like to add in some Parmesan cheese. So just let me get that. Excuse how many condiments we have. Like, look at our shelf. It's literally crazy. So if you guys didn't know, most Parmesan cheese isn't vegetarian because it has like animal embryos or whatever that's called in it. But I googled it, and Kraft apparently is vegetarian. They don't use those embryos or whatever the heck that is called. But just do your research. This is what Google told me, so I'm really hoping that they're not lying, because Parmesan cheese is literally my favorite thing in the whole entire world. So I'm just gonna add in some of that, mix it all together, let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm gonna finish grating my cheese. I've already started grating it, so I'm gonna finish grating the block, and then I'm just gonna do like a little time lapse of me putting everything all together, and then putting it in the oven, and then we'll be done. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put a layer of the noodles, and then I'm going to lay down some sauce and then cheese, and then I'm just going to keep doing that for 3 layers. And then on the very top layer, I'm just going to add the final layer of cheese, and I'm also going to add some Parmesan and again some sauces, and then that's pretty much it. So I'm going to put it in the oven at, it's set to 350, and I'm going to put it in for like 20 to 25 minutes, or until the top's kind of like golden brown. Basically, whenever you think it's done, you can take it out, and then I'm gonna let it sit for like 15 minutes so that the cheese can like not be like really goopy. You know when like pizza does that, when you eat it when it's too hot, it's like the worst. So kind of the same thing with that. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So I'm going to do like a little time lapse of me putting this together, and then we will see whenever it's all finished. That completes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want already. That way you don't miss any of my future videos. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next week for a new video. Bye!